Hey guys, you're watching BTech. I'm Basil, this is the Lumia 650 and this is the Honor 5X made by Huawei. Two devices cost under £200, but how do they stack up against each other? I'm going to talk about them in a lot more detail, but if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, subscribing helps us out massively. On top of that, Honor 5X, brilliant phone, check out our review. And if you want to win one, check out Gina's Friday update video from last week. Right, jumping into these two, and you can see size-wise they're quite different. 5 inches of screen versus 5.5 inches of screen. The Honor 5X is the bigger of the two. Different screen types as well. You've got an AMOLED screen versus an IPS screen. I really like how punchy, vibrant the Lumia 650 is. It's also nice and bright, but the Honor 5X is a sharper screen and the bigger size is actually perfect for my hands, so people with smaller hands may prefer the Lumia. As far as the bodies go, they are both premium devices for the prices. You've got metal banding around the Lumia 650. The Lumia 650's banding feels good, gives it flat sides that make it very easy to grip and hold, and the soft touch backing is also nice and grippy. It's a real shame this actually feels more premium than the flagships, which cost hundreds of pounds more. The Honor 5X by contrast has a brushed metal back, which looks premium but feels a tiny bit hollow. It's also got flat sides though, which give it a good amount of grip to when in the hand. I really like both of these designs. Both feel much more expensive than they are. Down at the base of both are micro USB connectors, so you have a loudspeaker on the base of the Honor 5X, whereas a front-firing speaker on the front of the Lumia 650. Right-hand side volume rock and power buttons. Left-hand side you've got a micro SIM card slot and a micro SD card slot, as well as a nano SIM slot. So you can get 2 SIM cards as well as a micro SD card in the Honor 5X. Now up at the top, 3.5mm jack, round the back, fingerprint scanner and camera on the Honor 5X, just the camera on the Lumia 650. Fingerprint scanner works amazingly. That brings me on to the user interface. Fingerprint scanner can actually control elements of the user interface, like bringing down the notification tray, as well as unlocking the phone as well. They run different operating systems. You've got Android versus Windows 10 for mobile. Now, Android's customized heavily by Huawei and Honor with Emotion UI. It isn't a stock Android experience. It isn't a particularly enjoyable Android experience unless you're coming from an iPhone and want it to feel very similar. That said, you can overlay a custom launcher, so you can customize it, and Android brings with it a ton of benefits in the form of a ton of applications. Now, a ton of applications is something that you do not have on Windows Phone. You do have a very elegant user interface, live tiles on one side, applications on another, pull down, you can then multitask, and then you've got one-handed mode if you long press a Windows button. Tons and tons of stuff to do, and it's very elegant, like I said, but in the same breath, it's a shame that there aren't enough applications supported by third-party developers or developers of key applications. Even the applications that are on here, like Instagram, don't support all the features that are supported by other operating systems, so you will be left wanting. If, however, you're someone who tends to pick up a phone and not install that many applications and really just use the ones out of the box, you have your basics covered on here, and you've even got really good access to Microsoft Word, Excel and PowerPoint, which come pre-installed. So yeah, operating systems wise, apps, user experience. But you can improve the user experience on the Honor 5X if you overlay it with a custom launcher. As far as the cameras go, you've got front-facing 5-megapixel cameras on both for some really good selfies, and the Lumia 650 selfie camera is actually really good. In fact, both are really good for quality. The Lumia 650's 8-megapixel rear camera, though, is exceptional because you can have manual modes, and also the picture quality is very good in good light and bad light too. You can customize the shutter speed, so you can even do cool stuff like light trails. The Honor 5X camera was great in good light, but in low light, any handshake comes through, and I'd say handshake was the biggest problem of it. Inside the phones, you've also got very different internals. You've got a Qualcomm Snapdragon 210, yes, 210, actually it's a 212, similar vein, with 1 gig of RAM on the Lumia 650, which is just not very powerful. I didn't notice much slowdown, to be honest though. Windows Phone is an efficient operating system, and it feels slick in spite of having that processor. You do get a lot more bang for buck though on the Honor 5X with its 616 processor and 2 gig of RAM. So if you are a gamer wanting to do stuff that's maybe a little bit more intensive, then, well, if you're a gamer anyway, you'll want the Honor 5X because it's got Android on board, which gets newer games even faster. You've also got 16 gig of internal memory and micro SD expandability across both LTE, etc. Really well connected devices. No NFC on the Honor 5X, though you do have that fingerprint scanner and you do have NFC on the Lumia 650. As far as the batteries go, it's a 2000 milliamp battery inside the Lumia 650, which surprisingly manages to make it through a full day with respectable screen on time, but it can't stack up to the very impressive battery on the Honor 5X, 3000 milliamps with that 616 processor, which isn't that power hungry, lasts a full day. I absolutely loved using it because I didn't have to stress out getting home to charge my battery at the end of one. So yeah, two really decent phones in a lot of areas. Where the Lumia 650 struggles is, like I've said over and over, applications, but it really thrives in terms of its design and that camera performance. As for the Honor 5X, loads and loads of applications through the Google Play Store and a really decent fingerprint scanner, premium feel in general, and yeah, good camera, but not as good a camera. Hopefully you enjoyed this comparison. If you did, then click that thumbs up button. If you like BTech, subscribe to the channel. That's how you're going to stay on top of everything that we do. And make sure, once again, if you haven't already, check out our Friday update from last week and you could be in with a chance of winning an Honor 5X for yourself.